Gravity Ascending is a dirt trial map where players refined their skills so much that they shaved off hours of the original times. The map also became the birthplace of the Falcon Dive, a trick that already existed but was taken to a new level on this map. Tadiken, who holds the world record on this map, is nearly a full minute faster than the author time. Right at the start, you encounter a trick that's crucial for reaching the first checkpoint. Since this trick doesn't have a name yet, we'll call it the dirt fling. To do this fling, you drive up a nearly vertical dirt wall. A ramp like this is ideal to do the trick. You want to drive at a 45-degree angle, and once the car starts sliding, you gently steer upwards. This will make the car fling, giving you a burst of speed. Although the exact mechanics aren't really understood, it's thought to be similar to a bug slide. Here the dirt fling gives you just enough speed to leap to the first checkpoint. To reach the second checkpoint, you need to do another trick called wall rides. These are curved dirt walls that require a balance between speed and grip to stay on the wall. While many players think speed is the key to entering a wall ride, the real secret lies in reducing airtime during the transition. It's all about balance between grip and speed that will let you do this trick. Once you're on the wall, keeping your wheels in contact with it is crucial. If the wheel gets off the wall just for a bit, you will lose grip and fall. Wall rides appear throughout the entire map, becoming harder as you ascend. After the first wall ride, Tadiken exits it backwards to quickly set up for the next one. He goes back, but drives on a higher wall to reach the second checkpoint. This checkpoint actually has a shortcut that I discovered myself during the making of this video. I will show you the shortcut and why it matters at the end of the video. At the second checkpoint, he carefully drops down to gain as much speed as possible in this half-pipe. Although Tadiken loses grip the first time, the second time he successfully does the wall ride. This section is already harder because it requires transitioning from a higher to a lower wall ride and then back up to a higher one again. Each transition risks losing grip, which could send you off the map. Checkpoint 3 has a long wall climb. Here dirt flings are essential to climb the steep wall. Without them the car wouldn't have enough grip to climb. You need to fling the car upwards repeatedly until you reach the top. On the final fling you must generate enough height to build up speed and clear this gap. Then you can jump to checkpoint 4. This checkpoint is a pretty fast one once you know what to do. The hardest part is the entry. You must enter the half-pipe slowly to maintain grip and trigger a wall ride. If you'd go at full speed, you could get into the wall ride, but it's much less consistent. Then you do a long wall ride and jump out once you did a full circle. But there is a second part to the checkpoint. You want to drive on this cone-shaped block, do a dirt fling, and at the last moment steer to the other side in order to land the car on the next checkpoint. Luckily, if you land upside down, you can turtle into the water pool in order to get the car to flip back, as water will always make the car flip back on its wheels. Checkpoint 5 is one of the quickest. First you use a dirt fling to jump onto a higher platform. Then, in the half-pipe, you perform another precise fling to reach the next checkpoint. Although he didn't manage to get the front wheels of the car on the platform, he drove backwards and got to the next checkpoint. Before literally diving into the next checkpoint, let's explore how this map came to be. Gazer Pauls, who created the track, was inspired by another dirt trial map called 30 Slides. This map features a trick, now known as the Falcon Dive, that caught his attention. But he wanted to take it to the next level. He made the trick part of the track at checkpoint 12. It was also around the time Deep Dip 2 came out, which inspired him to make it a tower map of 12 checkpoints. 30 Slides and other maps like it often only feature wall rides of various difficulties, but he wanted to create a map that pushed the dirt tricks to the next level. And that is how Gravity Ascending was born. Checkpoint 6 steps up the difficulty. Tadiken begins by building up speed and taking a tight turn on the platform, transitioning into the first downward wall ride. This is very precise, as hitting any corners or gaps could cause you to fall. The car barely fits through the spaces, so accuracy is everything. It is possible to stop on this platform to aim the car well for the rest of the checkpoints, but Tadiken does a quick turnaround and goes back up the wall and starts climbing. The map is designed to confuse you at certain points, and here you have to make sure to take the middle wall, as the other ones are flat and will make you just fall off the map. Finally, he flings the car out of the wall ride and lands on the next checkpoint. Checkpoint 7 features one of the toughest wall ride entries of the map. Maintaining grip while entering with enough speed is a delicate balance. He makes sure to build up some speed before taking the checkpoint. He needs a very good transition between this half-pipe and the tunnel to maintain speed and grip, because the first part of the tunnel is a steep climb. If you're too slow, you won't make it past the first gap. Once he gets past the first gap, he does an extra loop in the middle of the tunnel to build up speed and get past the second gap. Then, with one final rotation, he flings the car onto the next checkpoint. Checkpoint 8 is one of the longest and most precise wall rides of the map. Even Gazerpulse wasn't sure if this section was possible when he built it. You first of all have to make sure to drive the correct path, as there are other paths made to mislead you. Then you drive on this upside down dirt halfpipe, steering the car on an angle just more than 90 degrees. The smallest mistake will make you fall here, but then you have to transition into an outward facing halfpipe. If the car is too high on this transition, you will lose grip. You have to aim just right so that it will do the smallest jump possible. But this is not where the precision ends. The next segment loses its vertical section, requiring pinpoint accuracy to keep the wheels above the halfpipe's edge. Tadiken makes tiny adjustments to make sure the car stays on the track. Then there is a transition into a normal wall ride and a jump to the next checkpoint. Checkpoint 9 is similar to the one at the start, where you have to do a dirt fling and jump to the next checkpoint. However, this jump is even harder. It took Tadiken 5 tries to land it. On his 5th attempt, he barely makes it but manages to touch the water to flip the car back on its wheels. For the second part of this checkpoint, you do the same trick again, but on a higher halfpipe. On his first attempt, he realized he was not fast enough. After readjusting, he does it again and drives on the strip of dirt and flings the car to the next checkpoint. Checkpoint 10 starts off with a long wall climb, where you do the same dirt flings to climb up to a reactor booster. He uses the booster to build up speed, where it resets just before you start a wall ride. At the end of the first wall ride, there is another reactor booster to turn the car around, going into the second wall ride. Then, at the end of this section, there is another reactor booster to get you up to the next checkpoint. Checkpoint 11 is full of tricky transitions. You start with a dirt fling to enter the wall ride, then quickly transition to a higher wall ride before dropping to a lower one. The lower transition is particularly difficult as it's easy to lose grip. Then, by the end of this checkpoint, he climbs this wall as steep as possible, doing a dirt fling at the end to reach the reactor booster, which gives you enough of a boost to cross the loop and dive down the next checkpoint. Now we are at checkpoint 12. This is where the Falcon dive is. It starts with a downwards turn into a wall ride, where he has to make sure to get enough height to make it all the way to this dirt wall. He transitions to a higher dirt wall before doing the Falcon dive. He dives down and with incredible precision, he catches the car into this tight dirt wall. This trick takes a lot of precision to execute, as the car will easily slide off the wall at this speed. Although it looks impressive, it is not even the hardest part of this checkpoint. The final challenge here is a steep wall climb requiring near perfect execution. The reason this wall climb is so hard is because you need to generate so much height compared to the space you have. Tadiken found that the best approach is to fling the car up the wall as early as possible, then doing small left taps to keep the car from pulling away from its perfect climbing angle. When you climb it fast enough, you jump to checkpoint 13. Here he climbs this dirt wall using the dirt fling. This part of the track is sort of a dirt loop, but it's a lot harder than a normal loop. He takes the booster and does a beautiful loop, making sure to go to the right side to avoid falling into this hole. Checkpoint 14 features one of the longest climbs of the map. First he begins by driving down this dirt wall, gaining grip at the bottom and bangs this plastic wall to change the direction of this wall ride. Then he does a wall ride to the next part of the track where he has to do the same wall ride but this time climbing up. He made sure to hit the car as flat as possible on the walls in order to avoid a possible acceleration penalty. He took a safe approach to the climb, taking almost 45 seconds to go all the way up to the top. With an optimal strategy, this can be done in just about 20 seconds. After the long climb, he gets to the top and does a final spin on the wall to make sure he has enough speed and gets to checkpoint 15. This checkpoint will really test your wall ride transition skills. First he goes to a lower wall ride, then he has to jump from one wall ride to another. He makes sure to go high on the jump so he can catch the car onto the wall ride and jump to the next halfpipe. If you get a perfect jump from the wall into the halfpipe, you could do a direct transition into the next section. But Tadiken realized that he wouldn't make it directly and goes for a safe strategy, making sure he has a good setup for the wall ride. After getting a right angle and enough speed, he goes into the wall ride and flings the car onto the next platform, reaching the final checkpoint. Checkpoint 16 is the ultimate test. It combines all the different wall ride tricks with transitions and precision. Although he had to respawn a few times during the full run, he got the world record and beat the other time with this run. But I was wondering how far this track could be pushed if everything was executed to the human limits. If Tadiken's run was done without any respawns, he would have a time of 8 minutes and 39 seconds. But as we discussed throughout the run, not every checkpoint was executed to perfection. I asked both Gazerpulse and Tadiken if they think a sub 8 minute run would be possible. Gazerpulse didn't think it was possible, but Tadiken said there were many parts to gain time on the track. And there's also this shortcut I found. While looking at the track in the replay editor, I was wondering if there were any possible shortcuts in the map. If I found a good enough one, it would surely push the optimal time to a sub 8 minute run. And at checkpoint 1 I found a path with potential. I've barely played wall ride maps myself, so doing this one wouldn't be easy for me, as I am also not that great of a Trackmania player. But after a few tries, it really showed potential, so I started recording my runs. After about 10 minutes of trying, I managed to do the shortcut. This skips a long wall ride and shaves off about 25 seconds. With this shortcut, a sub 8 minute time was surely possible. After showing it to Tadiken, he wanted to see how far he could push the time in a segmented run. A segmented run is where you try to do every checkpoint as fast as possible without worrying about respawns. Then afterwards you see what time you would get without respawning. Not only did Tadiken push the time below 8 minutes, he actually managed to do it in 6 minutes and 58 seconds. Of course, doing this in a non-segmented run would be extremely hard. But while making this video, Tadiken didn't stop hunting the track. On December 1st, he set a new record of 7 minutes and 51 seconds. This is not even a minute more than the best segmented time. A track that took some players over 7 hours to complete is now beaten in less than 8 minutes, but could even be beaten in less than 7. Tadiken's segmented run is amazing to watch and is linked in the description. I want to thank Tadiken and Gazerpulse for their cooperation on this video. I've sent them a bunch of questions and they answered them in great detail, which made the video so much better. And I want to thank you for watching.